Greetings everyone and welcome back to my floor. Unfortunately today we are not going to be going over a professional game as I am usually like to do. Instead I'm going to go over a different game. An amateur game, believe it or not. What is the point of going over an amateur game, you may wonder to yourself? Well, good question, allow me to tell you. You see, occasionally I get topical lectures. Ideas, I should say, for topical lectures. And one such idea is Aji, a lecture on how to use Aji. But you know what? The lecture material did not, in fact, come from a pro game. It came from an amateur game. An amateur game played by none other than one of my students, who I will happily leave unnamed. But yes, he learned a great deal about Aji in this game because he seems to have missed every single bit of Aji that existed within it. And you're going to be able to see very, very clearly by going through this game just how very different the game could have been had he been able to see and use the Aji that was staring him right in the face. Now, I'm not doing this behind his back. He knows that I'm doing this. I told him the minute I laid eyes on the game that I was going to be doing this, so don't anyone think I'm being cruel here. Let's see. Black starts off with a nice little 4-4 point, which white follows suit. Nothing unusual there. Though I will point out, those of you who can actually see this, yeah, irritating little mark on the board from where my setup fell. I thought I broke my camera today when it came crashing onto the board. But alright. Black takes another 4-4 point for himself. And white decides to play off star point in a manner that is most unusual, something that I would go over. Most unusual indeed. Now, I should point out, white is my student. I think. Oh god, how is that? How bad is that I don't remember? No, yeah, white is my student. I don't usually teach unorthodox moves, unsurprisingly enough, but he decided to experiment with this one. Black approaches normally, as you would expect to do. And from here, as white, you would expect some kind of attack on the one stone. Either loose, maybe farther, depending on what you want to do. You wouldn't really lean on this stone because the 4-4 belongs to your opponent. It would be hard to actually build up this area here with the wall that you'd be created, given that your opponent already has a stone on that side of the board. Unfortunately for my student, he did actually lean on this, which black was, of course, only too happy to respond to. And then get extremely greedy with. Normally we would either extend again, or jump. He, on the other hand, is being greedy. He's trying to take the entire corner for himself immediately, solidly, securely. Now the problem with this is that it opens up the ability for your opponent to turn. White does not have to simply descend and then, what, let you come up? Or poke or something? Before going back to whatever it is you thought you were going to do over there? White can, in fact, play elsewhere. And white does. White decides to turn here. Alright, reasonable move. Black follows up. And here we're going to start seeing some Aji. And reason for this. I, for example, would play here and let black give me more influence. I'm completely fine with that. I think this is a decent result. Oh, you can just barely see that first line. Yikes. Hope you can see what's going on here easily enough. There is a line on this board. My student, on the other hand, decided to drop down. Leave some Maji behind, but he can't take advantage of it. Alright, cool. Can't take advantage of it. For reasons that are simple. That cut point is a no-no. We could say to ourselves, it is time to attack. Because I am going to use all of my Aji to disrupt, I don't know, everything that white was trying to get. But how do you handle the cut? I mean, there's really no point cutting through here if even one simple move connects the group together. It doesn't really make any sense. So okay, I guess black decided that was good enough. I got my corner. I have Sente. Now it's time to destroy what my opponent is making. Yes, it is that infamous strategy where we try to give our opponent something and then take it all away immediately. Okay. At least now we understand the strategy here. Well, black creates a weak group for himself. No need to have done that. Could have played on the left-hand side. Could work on the wall over here, being large. But okay, he splits. Whatever. Creates himself a 2-space extension. And from here, things get interesting. My student decides to poke, forcing black to live, and I guess getting rid of some of the Aji in his own position. He plays this, interestingly enough. Black decides to make life for himself. We're not going to go over that though, because that's not the point of this. Instead, what we do see is him try to immediately use the wall, which black immediately tries to reduce again. And it is from this position that a very interesting game takes place. Because from here, it's all a question about, obviously, strength of the influence, what Aji exists within these stones, how this can be attacked, what options are available to white's approach. All of these fun, interesting questions. White decided to pincer. Okay. That's a thing, sure. Black plays extremely slow with a move that does not have to be responded to. White does know that does not have to be responded to, and jumps out instead, threatening to surround. Black at that point tries to lean on the 5th line for development. Something you will not see in any Joseki book, unless they're teaching you what not to do. Maybe then. But you can see how this game turned into one of Aji. It's all about taking advantage of the weaknesses in positions. Because we have weaknesses here with the small knight. We have weaknesses here in the not alive. We have weaknesses here, not alive locally. So how do you put all of these things together and actually start getting a really nice board for yourself? That is a really good question, because there's a lot of people who play as black plays here. Now, unfortunately, my student is my student for a reason. Uh-oh, KGS just closed on me. Oops, there we go. But yes, my student is my student for a reason. He has much to learn. He was worried about the territory in here. So he defends. He was trying to go for this kind of shape. Black attached and offered him the corner, which unfortunately he was unable to resist. I mean, we don't really have to do anything here, right? I mean, we could play here and that's sufficient enough. I mean, how does Black even deal with something as simple as this from this position if he were to have cut? I mean, this is something that usually isn't a problem because your stones are different. I mean, here, for example, you can easily Atari. Here, you still have options. Again, easy Atari if you want. Here, we don't really have a really great Atari. All of our stones are separated. So this is one position where he could have gotten more for himself, because there's no good way for Black to really deal with this besides just, what, give up the entire corner? That's not a good result. What else could Black have done? Atari? Still not seeing where this is going just yet. Push through, I suppose? Okay, we could push through. Again, we're not entirely certain where this is going. Do we take the one stone? Is that what we're doing here? Because you can clearly see that that's not a good result either. I mean, this stone is still unanswered and can extend. These are getting really destroyed. You might get some influence in Gote, and then wave bye-bye to these stones. So that Aji that's being left behind in this position, not a fan. Gives White tremendous amounts of opportunity. That's just one situation that we're going to be taking a look at. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, my student could not resist the allure of solid points, so he made himself a little bit weaker here by capturing the stone, thus making this actually look like it's working together and accomplishing something. So he immediately bugs out and says, you know what, that's not what I intended to do. Let's go back and attack. But now we're leaning on the stone that we're trying to attack. So we can't really say this is an attack so much as, you know, just trying not to let these stones get killed, really. I mean, what can Black do right now? Black could consider ways to connect on up. Black extends. White jumps out with a small knight. Black pokes, forces White to live. Doesn't connect, oddly enough. Decides not to connect despite the cut not going anywhere. Defense. Heard in the outside group. Okay. You see where he's getting these ideas from. White still doesn't like his shape. So he's both attacking and trying to get defended. Wait, what? Sorry, I don't have this game memorized. White connects. And then Black goes again for the solid points. I am not in any way, shape, in danger here. Just, I want the points. Give me the points. So white gets to drop down, and gets to drop down, and gets to drop down. Now, unfortunately, whenever you play like this, especially when you've just answered a bunch of your opponent's stones in a row, you kind of get this sensation that you have to respond. Especially if you're playing Blitzgo. But you can see here, there's no connection. So this isn't Sente. White could right now go off and play larger moves. Of which there are a plethora all over the board, depending on how you want to develop. Unfortunately, it responded. And black says again, time to get rid of everything. That is the kind of player this is. Black is the kind of player who will try to get rid of everything that he has given you. And I can understand the mentality behind that. Some people have bad direction of play decisions. They have a hard time seeing the whole board, so they don't really rely on developing something for themselves. They only want to rely on destroying everything for their opponent. So okay, that's what we have here doing for black. Destroy everything. White cuts. Which really I don't think you have to do. I mean, he could have just played here, I think, and he still would have gotten his opponent killed, but whatever. He cuts. White sacrifices, or white connects, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Black takes. Now here's another instance where you want to be sure. Take your time and read when you're in fights. Does this actually work? Yeah. This actually works. In fact, the only thing that doesn't work here is if black extends over towards white stones. But here, absolutely works. Unfortunately, neither players in this game realize this. So despite the extension, which admittedly might not be yeah, okay, at this point it's really screwed. But yeah, okay, missed the extension. Hello everyone in chat. I can't really read the chat right now, unfortunately, because I have to lean forward entirely too much, and that's entirely too painful. But yes, unfortunately, black sacrifices, didn't realize ladder was favorable, so it gets rid of. I mean, even here, you could save yourself. I mean, this was still a good variation, right? Because now the ladder's broken. And if black takes, can back off. This is still toast. I'm feeling alright. I haven't pissed it off. I haven't pissed my back off today, thanks for asking. So yeah, this wasn't a bad idea, the cut. But it is bad to realize that the ladder does not exist. In your favor, that is. And it's also bad to realize that the ladder doesn't exist in your favor. Alright, so that's gotten rid of. Now black is again trying to get out. I have absolutely no idea what this is, but white connects. And then black runs. Now, fundamentally speaking, we can again take a look at this. Came into this, we can come to this realizing something very, very fundamental. There are two weak groups right next to each other. Something that you never, ever, ever want to have a problem with. So, fundamentally that's bad, because all we have to do is split, which my student did. So from here you would say smooth sailing, right? Easy game for my student. All he had to do was handle this well, the rest of the game's fine. But that's the thing about Aji. He backs off, doesn't create the cut point, that's good. So far so good. Black's forcing him to connect, that's good too. Black's trying to get out, realizing he's in trouble. And jumps so far out, it's insane. We all know that running with a small knight can get cut. Running with a large knight is insane. And running with a large knight right next to your opponent, who's peeping the very large knight that you're running with, is just mental. But it's always up to you to decide, to figure out how you're taking advantage of this. My student bamboos off. Fairly certain you can probably just go and cut that immediately, but this is fine too. He's offering a trade. Fix yourself with something like this, and I will kill you with something like that, and everyone will be happy. The exchange will be made. You get to live somewhere in exchange for you dying somewhere. Unfortunately, white does not get that peaceful result. Black says, I'm going to take everything and live everywhere. My student gets sidetracked. He bambooed off to make certain that there was no creepy peeps going on over here. This is nice and strong, we can connect. He got the response out of his opponent, but he doesn't follow up yet. Instead, he keeps separated. Okay. That's okay. Black's trying to get out of here. Trying to get out of here. Oh god, he's cut. Black is surely dead now, right? But now again it's Aji. And life and death. Can you read this out properly in order to kill this? Because Black says, boom, I'm gonna kill you. What you gonna do now? My student backed off, which isn't bad. I didn't like the reason he did it though. He said he backed off because he was worried about his opponent cutting immediately. He was worried about that, in other words. Again, good time to read. So ask yourself if that really works, which clearly it doesn't. Laddered to oblivion. So very, very bad reason to back off. I would like him saying, I backed off here just so I could not, just so my opponent doesn't get Aji, to try and kind of connecting under shenanigans, which we're seeing from him now. Alright, so we have this. Tries to push through. And now we have a glorious misread. Because my student does not Atari. He goes for the sure points, like a lot of cues do. He figures these will be saved. And then he can come back in Atari. So, small mistake there. Because black just pushes on through. At this point in the game, I want to again reiterate that I have permission from my student to show this. And then black goes back and tries to live. White's poking. There's not a lot we can do. He tries to run the group when he should just sacrifice it. Because this is the best thing in the world that black should be able to see. Being able to just run after and lean on this is excellent. He'll get a wall in the center, this group, and the middle one would be completely fine. So this, bad idea, is giving his opponent too much Aji to use. By saying, I'm invested in this group, black would have an option of doing so. Unfortunately, black is also greedy and just lives in the corner for the sure points. My student finally comes back, separates. Black tries to save himself. White asks, are you sure this actually works? And then goes after the sure points. That's a lot of things that I notice cues do a lot of the time. They'll go after the 2 stones, because they're sure points. They'll go after the 3 stones, because they're sure points. The corner, same thing, sure points. The, how everything overall relates to everything. How, for example, this doesn't matter. Especially when we can just turn and kill. Would be much better. But this is viewed as risky. So he went for sure points. Black jumps away. Tries to anyway. And here's another instance where we have a nice little reading problem. How best do we deal with the stones that are running away? Good question. Good question. My student just jumps on up. But is there anything better here? Is there anything better here? Because it looks like this just about works. Very, very close. Very, very close. It looks like the peep is similarly an interesting move. You can't let him through that. Right? Can black really extend up here? Definitely ruined shape, gets these stones stronger that he was so worried about. It's an interesting idea. So we have 2 interesting ideas right now. I took off too many stones. You, board, speak to me. Ah, This one. No, not that one. Wait, what? You were down there. Took off that one. There we go. Is this it? No. There was a stone there. Are we there now? No. Okay, now we're confused. Okay, too many stones are off the board. There we go. Now we're back to normal. Sweet, got it. But yeah, the shoulder hit looks a lot more interesting. Unfortunately, lets him just jump away. So black just jumps away. Black has no eyes. So it's fine. Threatens to connect up. Black, of course, is happy to take off 2 stones in Goat, because that's short points. More short points. Gotta keep them short points. And then decides to attack from the top to drive him to the left, when all of the strength is here, right? Not sure if I like that idea. Not sure I like that idea at all. I'd probably lean on the other side, but I'm greedy. I'm greedy. I can't say that's a bad move. Because clearly we're looking to take the top. Okay. I'll agree with that. Which means now that we're no longer interested in attacking and trying to kill, I'd be curious about a probe here. Does white find black backing off? If so, we have easy development. Especially with black having to run for a very, very long time. Instead, white says, I'm going to drive you into my area. Which is very, very different from what he said originally. And then defends himself. White is finding that black is incredibly greedy. Greediest person in the history of ever. Just going to try to get rid of everything. All the time. Forever. To the point where he tries to connect up stones that aren't connected to anything. And again, we ask ourselves, okay, is there Aji in this position? Can I take advantage of it? And we find ourselves saying, of course we can. We could do something very, very simple. We could do this. Unfortunately, my student, afraid of the cut, backs off. His opponent, ever greedy, tries to keep white from taking anything on the top side of the board. This is a game where white is trying to take something here and there and here. Black is constantly saying, no, you cannot have it. And so far he's getting away with it. But will he get away with it again here in the center? That is now the question. Well, again, white goes for the short points. Much to everyone's chagrin, because all he had to do, surround everything and it's dead. Who cares if there's even an eye in here? But right now he's going for the short points. Black gets to escape a little bit slowly, but okay. You. There we go. And only after there's no more sure points to kill. Because we killed off those. We killed off these. We killed off them. Only then do queues tend to... only then do a lot of queue players tend to look at the whole board. Because there's nothing really small for them. There's no, like, how to word this without sounding really insulting to every queue player in the history of ever. There's no more cheese in the mousetrap? I don't have any idea what kind of analogy to make here. There's nothing shiny for them to go, oh, that's bad too. Yeah, look, there's just no sure points for them to go after anymore, okay? Okay, thank you. Yes, nothing specific to focus on. Exactly. So only then do they broaden their focus, and they like in this game, my student realized, hey, this is all weak. I can like just go over to his connection and get there first. A really, really great thing to know as a queue player. You'll surprise the crap out of your opponent constantly. But unfortunately, some people only try those, let's say, higher level strategies when the queue ones are all gone. So that was wrong. He attached. Sorry, my bad. Black plays the Hane. Exactly what white would want. Exactly what white would want. He Hanes on the other side. Connects. Double large knight connections. Should very well mean the end of all life as we know it. Instead, attaches. Pretty good. And like I mentioned, probably should have been done down here. Cuts through. Nothing to go after. Nothing's getting killed. So now we're fighting back. Black makes a mistake of trying to kill this. I say mistake, of course, because it allows awesomeness like this to occur. It doesn't, but it could have. Where suddenly we have to find ourselves, well, can we really defend all of this? I mean, it looks like a problem. There's so many cut points. None we're taking advantage of. I mean, even something as simple as this would be a really, really great move to play right now. But doesn't think of the Aji. Just kills the... Oh, that's not the white stone I was looking for. Just kills the black stone. Allowing black to connect up and capitalize on his mistake. His greediness, as we are saying. Small knight there. Let's see, do I want to go over the rest of this? Was there anything worth going over? Oh, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Might as well show the rest of it. Why not? There's not much of it. Alright, so white stone jumps on in. Black says all mine. White says prove it. Which again, I think is amazing. I mean, this is This is pretty special. Because we've got peeps, we've got large knights, we've got small knights. Unfortunately, we're just gonna strengthen all that because let's face it, you don't really have to do much here at this point. Just don't die. I mean, black has nothing really. Try to cut through. White makes shape. Black cuts through in Gote, allowing white to Hane, the head of 2 stones, which is really, really good for him. Making all them shapes. Doesn't allow the double Hane, which he should have done anyway. I mean, that should have been that. But whatever. White gets to cut through, or extend rather. Defends. Gets more shape for himself. Doesn't pay attention to the Aji's leaving behind. White gets to connect solidly. And connect. Are you really connected? Yeah, I'm really connected. And then black resigns. Because let's face it, what's he have? He's got the upper right. And that's about it. Now, white did win this game. Clearly. I almost wish he lost it just to make for a better game to have gone over. But white did in fact win this game. But we saw repeatedly in different parts of the board how it should have been a lot different. Because no one's really looking at what Aji they have, what's available to them. What moves are lingering in the positions that are currently on the board. And they were going after small things. They were going after, you know, those sure plays. Leaving everything behind in the hopes that they can live. And you can see the reason why a lot of people play this way. Because occasionally, yeah, you do go ahead and live. And the question then, if you're reviewing that game, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, I probably need to help my life and death because I lost these stones over here. And not, holy crap, I need to make certain that this never happens again. Because this lived, so you might not even be aware that that was the problem with the game. Or you might not go further back and think to yourself, well, if I hadn't run out these two right next to each other, then none of that would have ever happened. But no, they were weak, and there was a lot of Aji there for my opponent to use against me. So things started dying even on a very, very small scale, and that was more than enough. More than enough. So this game had both players missing so many obvious things that I just had to turn it into a lecture. Because you do see this a lot. You do see this a lot. And if this is reminiscent of your own play, well then congratulations. You now have a good idea on what to work on. I bid you good luck with that. I am going to vanish and stop leaning over my board because it's not doing wonders for my back right now. So I will see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this little game despite it not being a pro level game. And I hope you learn a little bit more about Aji from it as well.